Thank you for joining me on my live. I'm just sorry I'm a little bit late. I'm just having a last minute camera problem. Uh, Usual technical problems on working class stacks. Please bear with me just a moment. Problem I'm having is I tried to go with a landscape view and the YouTube app actually wouldn't let me. So I've just had to do a last minute adjustment and I'm getting my camera all wrong. I'm trying to get it straight. There we go. That'll have to do. Stackers, hello. Thank you for joining me. Unfortunately, it is just me today, Sandy. Normally on these lives, I am joined by my partner, Danny. She's feeling really under the weather today. She's had the worst toothache ever, guys, and she's been up all night. She was in the office today. So she's worried on. She came in from work and she said, we're still going to do the live. I said, yes. I took one look at it. I said, just sit out, Dan, because I can tell you're not up for it. So the role she normally plays here is she normally helps me. She sits aside me and she helps me keep up with the chat, which I find quite difficult, to be honest, while I'm talking and doing my thing. So she'll just read out the chat. So without her tonight, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for me to keep up with everyone. I'm just going to have a quick little hello to you all. I can see a few of you in here now. It's pretty difficult for me to mess about with my phone without moving it. This is the problem I have. This is why Danny joins me. So thank you for your patience, everyone. So we've got Nerd UK in. Hello, Nerd. Hello, BBA. Welcome, welcome. We've got Benson. Hello, mate. We've also got 365 in. Hello, mate. Welcome. Jumping into Silver. I haven't seen you for a while. Hello, mate. Hope you're doing well. And Diaxis. Brits and Sobs is here. Okay. Again, I'm already making a total hash of my phone and messing about with it. It's all a work in progress, guys. As you can see, I've made a lot of improvements lately to the working class stacks set. It's quite a big deal. I'm sorry I'm bobbing all over the place. You're just going to have to get used to it. Hope you don't feel seasick or anything. Before I get started, I just have to say that I'm going to talk a little bit about silver and spot price and stuff like that. And I'm not a financial advisor. It has to be said on a live, just a little disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a working class chap in a working class cap with a working class stack. I had to get the cash phrase in. Good to get that in, as always. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about a few little pickups I've had. I have slowed down with me stacking plan lately, and I'll be talking about why and the timing of it. I'll be talking about my set and the improvements I've made. There's quite a few and a few more to come. I'll be having my little say on spot price. Obviously, it's gone absolutely ballistic, as everyone knows. We're all talking about it. So I'll be having my little say for what it's worth. And I'll be talking about a little sort of side stack I've put aside for various reasons and why. And we'll come to that a little bit later. And also just talking a little bit about my personal life with Danny and what's been going on with us. It has been a while since we've done a live. I've just seen Jack Stacks pop in. Evening, mate. Welcome. Well, we'll come to that later. We'll get through the silver stuff first, and then on to me and Danny and what's been going on. So, pickup wise, not a great deal. I promised the 1 ounce a week thing. That kind of slowed down just before my holiday. I did sort of tell you my reasons on my last live, what we had going on with the holiday. So 1 ounce a week had to be put on hold. I know it's a big claim, isn't it? 1 ounce a week, every week for the next 20 years. It is harder than it seems. You know, I get paid weekly, and the idea was that I pick up an ounce out of my wages each and every week, 30, 40 quid. You know, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. By the time we got to the 6-month plan, Danny and I, we were actually quite a bit ahead just because we topped up from on other occasions from the weeks we missed, and we ended up reaching the 6-month point maybe 3 or 4 weeks early, maybe even a little bit more. I can't quite remember. Silverpunk, welcome. Hello, mate. Good to see you. So yeah, we slowed down big time with the with the spot price, with the 1 ounce a week thing, because of the holiday. And honestly, the holiday's been and gone, and it's been hard to kind of catch up with it again. As you know, spot price has gone absolutely through the roof. So the timing of all this has been sort of coincidental, really. Um, it's made me sort of step back and rethink a few things. But I'll come to that later on. I know you guys want to see the pickups, so I'm going to get stuck in. I'm going to go with the best one first because I've been dying to show this. There's a couple of people might have seen the pictures of this, but this is like a tribute to my holiday with Danny to Lake Garda. This is a Lake Garda bar. This is a 1 ounce Pamp Sweets bar. It's vintage. It's 1999. It's got some great toning on it. I paid a pretty penny for this. I actually found it while I was just searching the internet, sitting on a balcony in Lake Garda, just about here. If you can see, that is a place called Tignale or Tignale, which is where Danny and I were staying, right up on the cliffs. It was a beautiful place. It was a really fantastic holiday. And I think it was 365 who said when I posted a picture in Stacker Social, he said that's better than any postcard. He called it a postcard in silver. And I like that. I like that term. Very good with words, 365. I've just seen Shiny pop up into the chat. I'm not keeping up with what everyone's saying, but I am seeing who's on. H, welcome. Can you give a shout out to my pal Donald? A shout out, loves your videos. Donald, hello, I hope you're in. Welcome, Donald. Little shout out for you. I do find it hard to keep up with the chat, but I can see people like comment. I can see people's names and stuff. But yeah, this is my Lake Garda bar. Pamp Sweets, 1999. 1 ounce of silver. You got some place names on it. Like this is Nzano, where we got the train from. You got Salo, where they have the market. You've got I'm terrible at the names, but Malachine. We visited a lovely castle there. We took a ferry trip across that lake, and that is just a brilliant memento. I've entered that into the Stacker Showdown challenge because it is a vintage bar, 1999. The Stacker Showdown challenge, which is being set up by TSC, bit of fun, and that's my entry. It's brand new. It cost a pretty penny. It actually got delivered from Albania. I had a really good experience with a guy on eBay called Eggsy, who is now a subscriber to the channel because we were chatting a little bit. He gave me a discount from what he was originally offering. It was obviously because of the VAT and the import and the delivery. It was originally going to cost me about 130 quid this, and I got it down to £86. Eggsy even said to me that he would try and deliver it with like a packaging that didn't give away the fact that it was silver, so that I could get away with paying the VAT. But unfortunately, with it being eBay, the VAT was already just dealt with when the transaction was made. But yeah, I mean, I got nearly sort of 50 quid off his original asking price by negotiating with him. He's got, if you're interested in this, let me know in Stacker Social because he's got a whole range of these on his eBay site. They're not cheap. They go for about £100 to anything up to about £500, honestly. But there's some real great vintage pieces that he's got. They're really cool. Most of them are this series, which are like Italian locations and landmarks. Bergamo and Milano and the Duomo, the fabulous building that we visited in Milan before we headed to Lake Garda. Yeah, so they're really good, but they're not cheap. If that's what you're into, check him out. I'll give you his link. There's the back of it. You see the Pamp Suisse logo at the bottom. It's not the cleanest round. It's a bit scratch and toned. It is nearly 30 years old, but I think the toning just works well on this bar because it just really fits in. You know, the way the toning settled into like the mountain crevices and the shore of the lake. And that is going straight in my deep stack. That'll never be sold, that one, guys. That's a prized possession. Probably my absolute top piece of silver now. You know, I would have said the Battle of Britain bar, but that's just such a more personal. As 365 said, it's a postcard in silver. And I think a contender to win Stackers Showdown. So when the vote happens, guys, if you like this, if you like what you're looking at and the story behind it, give me a little vote. Just a bit of fun, but it's nice to get a bit of recognition for these things, isn't it? So there you go. There's that. So the only other bullion pickup that I've got, oh, hello, Kilroy. Welcome, mate. Just to let you know what I've already said to the rest of the chat, I'm finding it really hard to keep up with the chat. Danny's not here helping me. It's very small writing. I can't touch my phone. But if I do see a new name in there, I will give you a little shout out and say hello. I saw half your face. Yeah, Benson just said he saw half my face. Yeah, you don't want to see the rest. I know, I was aware of that when you could see my reflection. It's always a little bit of a face reveal. Yeah, I'll do a face reveal. I'm not bothered. Let's go. I'd mess with my phone. I'm not too bothered about all this security and hello. This is me, face reveal. I don't really like to do the face thing because I got a missing tooth and yeah, I don't like that on camera. But yeah, I'm not too bothered about. So there you go, face reveal. Quite a spontaneous one. There you go. So yeah, not too bothered now. See, this is what happens when I play with my phone. Am I coming through? Because I think I just lost my stream. Hello, Ned. Yeah, if I'm coming through, then okay. All right, let's get on with things because that was right. So I was talking about my my other bullion pickup. You've seen my Lake Garda bar. I've only got one more other than that, right? Which is this Elton John coin. All right, so this is 1 ounce silver Royal Mint coin. I'm sure many of you have seen this. I'm pretty sure BBA has got one of these and he takes it on the bike ride with him. Let me know, BBA. I'm sure I've seen this on your bike rides. This is the Elton John coin. I'm a big fan of Elton John. I love his work. I love him as a artist and I love him as an icon. He's a true British national treasure. You can see, yeah, he has taken one BBA on his bike rides. I knew he had. Okay, so you've got the British flag in the background. You've got the musical note, which is his glasses, the famous Elton John hat. Even though you can't see any of his face, even if that writing wasn't there, Elton John, if it was just that dicky bow, the musical note, the glasses, and the hat, you'd know that you were looking at Elton John, wouldn't you? And I think that's a great coin. Tribute to a icon of mine. So that'll go in the stack. And honestly, guys, that up until this week, that is the only ounce of silver that I've bought. That's one for the working class stack and one for Danny and I's deep stack, our memory box. All as I say, we have slowed things down. I do have a couple of other pickups, few little different things. The first one being this. I'll show you this because this is from a member of the community who you all might know, which is a great guy. He's a pourer and his name is Crown Cast Silver. Okay, so there's Crown Cast Silver's icon. I only got this at the end of this week, at the beginning of this week, sorry, and that is this 17 gram Remembrance Bar, he calls this. There we go, got it in focus. So isn't that a lovely little piece? I've just seen Danny popping in saying she's watching and she's on tea duty. I'm all right for now, love. I'll let you know soon if I need a top up. So yeah, this is a remembrance bar. You've got the poppy on the left-hand side, dog tags, the boot, and on the back, we've got just a flat surface with the 999 silver, 17 grams, Crown Cast stamp. He's done fantastic work with this. This is the second item that I bought off Crown Cast Silver. The only two poured items that I have bought, I've got a bit of an ambition to get something special off Silver Punk eventually. But I bought a couple of little things. The first thing I got was my little silver button. It was a little 10 gram silver button with the Stackers Social sort of emblem on it that Crown Cast had made a bunch of when I first started stacking and joined the community. And I wanted to buy that because it was sort of like felt like my sort of entry into the club, if you know what I mean. Just to have something with the Stackers Social logo on it. I've since sent that on a mail call. I don't do many mail calls, I'm not going to lie, but I've sent that on a mail call. And it's not that I wanted to give it away, but there was a very special member of the community who I thought deserved it. And that was young Nemo Jr., who I'm sure you're all aware of. It was when he was pumping out a few videos of his dad, Nemo. I kind of felt that it was the perfect gift for him, really. So I sent him that 10 gram. And this is what I've got this week off Crown Cast. It just felt, you know, Danny and I, we love anything to do with the military and the remembrance of, you know, we have a lot of respect for our armed forces. Neither of us have served, but we've got a lot of family who have. And yeah, I seen that and on Crowncast's page, and I just said, I want one of those, how much? And he told me, and I just said, yeah. And he said, I'll have one, please. And he actually said, I'll have to make some more, so can you bear with me a few days over the weekend? So this was poured for us, which, you know, gives it just such a much more personal touch. Hello, SK. Okay, SK. I was going to say I'm not too sure who you are, and I'm not too sure I want to get involved in that comment. I'll just move on and ignore you. Hopefully everyone in the chat can do the same. But yeah, there's my remembrance bar. Okay, so a lovely tribute. It'll be coming back out. That's another thing for the deep stack. A brilliant poured piece just for us. And yeah, you can head over to Stackers Social and get in touch with Crown Cast Silver. He'll do anything you want, really. If he can pour it, he will. He does some fantastic work, along with Silver Punk and Volley Silver and Liquid Metals, all the other guys who do the pouring. I'm a big fan of the pouring side of things. I've said through my channel and to Silver Punk personally, you know, it's a bit of an ambition of mine to do some pouring at some point in the future. I'd love to do it. I really would. Unfortunately, we live in a first floor apartment and it's just not on the cards, even if I could afford all the equipment, you know, to set up and everything. But it's definitely something I want to do. But also with the Remembrance Bar, Crown Caster sent me one of his little stickers. Already got one of those from last time, but yeah, that'll go on me tin at some point. And he sent me this as well, which is actually the COA. Handmade in the UK, Crown Cast Silver, COA. It is the Memorial Bar. I called it a Remembrance Bar. It's actually the Memorial Bar. It's 999, fine silver, 17 grams, 2025, and a mintage is open. So, yeah. So there are the three pickups that I've got since I last went live, which was about a month ago. So you can see things have slowed down greatly, which I'll talk about in a little while, because there are actually a couple of other things which are picked up, but for totally different reasons. And I don't want to get into that just yet. I'm not avoiding it. I'm just building into it. Because the other thing that I've done recently, I'll just try and adjust this. Actually, so just try and catch up with the chat for a minute. What's everyone saying? While I try and get my phone fixed. So Brits and Sobs, how many stackers, social bars and rounds have you got, BBA? Oh, I'd love to know that. I'd love to know how many 50p's he's got. The more I play with this, the worse I'm getting. It does me head in that it's not straight. But yeah, hopefully you guys don't mind too much. I do. But yeah, okay. Stop playing with it. So yeah, I have been making some improvements to the set, as you can see, and that's a big deal for me. I've been getting really frustrated with the channel because filming on the kitchen table is just a ball ache. Again, live in a first floor apartment. Been here for a few years. We've gotten a bit disgruntled with our landlord, and we stopped sort of spending money on the place, and we're kind of looking at moving, but you know, guys, it's difficult. So yeah, I decided that I'd go out and buy a desk. I bought this desk. It's a fabulous little desk. It's my desk. I love it. That doubles up in our lives, because not only does it give me a space for all this, but Danny works from home. Well, she works in the office 1 or 2 days a week and remotely for free. So she's now got a space to work in. You know, she's normally just on the sofa, really, which is fine. But, you know, it gives her an opportunity to leave the living room and have another space, and she can do what she wants, flip between the two. So that's been an investment in our lives, as well as just in helping me out no end in this channel. You know, it gives me just that space where I can just come and sit down. I can do it after work. I can never be bothered filming after work. I work hard. I come in 6 o'clock, sometimes 6:15. By the time I've had my tea and wound down, last thing I want to do is sit at a kitchen table. It takes me 20 minutes just to get all my gear out and set up and get it all, you know, sort of asymmetrical and that, you know, so it looks good on camera. And I still don't think it looks good on camera, and it bugs me. So that you know, having this desk is a big, big, big step up. So sorry, I just caught jumping into Silver's message. I don't want to take any attention from you. Just want to say that I've had some bad news. My brother has stage 3 lung cancer and is going to Christie's on Friday. Enjoy your show. Oh, jump in, mate. I'm so sorry to hear that. That's terrible news. Lung cancer has taken a member of my family, my nan. Terrible, mate. Right, well, I hope he's okay, or I hope he's comfortable. So you just take care, mate. But I will crack on. Yeah, thanks, guys. Okay, mate. Well, you do what you've got to do, and best of luck. And I hope things go well, and you know he's okay. All right. Well, as I say, I'm going to crack on. But yeah, so the desk. Yeah, the desk isn't the only thing I've made an improvement on. I've been spending a bit of money. I'm sure you can see these two. We've got Sandy and Danny from Greece down here. That is our namesakes. It's a gimmick I play around with to promote the channel, that we are Sandy and Danny, although, you know, kind of in reverse, because I'm Sandy and she's Danny. You are the one I want. So, yeah, I bought them to bring a little bit of colour to my set. I'll play around with them on a few shorts here and there as well. I told you about the chest that I bought last time, so I've got that. Yeah, I love that little chest to keep my deep stack in. And just on top of the chest here, I bought this little item, which I think is really cool. So this is going to be my silver logbook. I haven't put anything into it yet, but this is handmade, handcrafted leather logbook, and it cost about 20 quid. And you know, you can smell it, and it, you know, it really smells of that fresh leather. I think it was handcrafted in India. I bought it on Amazon. You can get one if you want for about 20 quid. It's got this strap that goes around it. And I'm going to log the working class stack in there. I think that's very, very cool. It's just, it's funny, because I was thinking about this book this morning, and I was thinking, I can't just write in this in a normal biro. And the next thing I need to buy now, I've got my cool little logbook, is I need to buy a good pen. I can't just write in this in any old biro. I need like a Parker pen at least. And I turned on Stacker Social this morning while I was thinking about this, and there was a full conversation going on about like quality handmade pens, just by pure coincidence. So yeah, I've just seen Brits and Sobs. A vintage book looks good. It's not vintage; it's brand new. It's handcrafted out of leather. It looks vintage, doesn't it? But it's got that smell of fresh crafted leather to it. It's really cool. Uh, it's probably a little bit smaller than I imagined it was when I ordered it. I'm gonna have to write in it pretty small when I keep track of everything. It's got like a nice brown paper, which sort of adds to it. So yeah, I mean that's gonna be with me as long as the working class stack is with me. Keeping track of all my records. It's got plenty of pages in it. So yeah, just drop that back on there. So yeah, Benson, you need a feather pot. I thought about that. A feather and a pot of ink. I thought about that, but I'll only spill it all over the carpet, mate. You know what I'm like. You know what I mean? Uh, so yeah, Silver Punk. I've got about 60 odd, I think. We'll have to get some out. What 60 odd what pen? So Brits and Sobs just said I need a Cardiff Gold pen. I have got a Cardiff Gold pen. I've got one. I know all about these Cardiff Gold pens. They're how indestructible they are. But no, that might have to do for now. You know what I mean? As a substitute, but it's still a biro. It might be indestructible, but it's still a biro. So yeah, see, Danny knows the score. She's sitting in the other room. She said she might pop in at some point. She's going to have to because I'm going to need a brew. Not just yet, but I am going to need a brew. She says he will have ink on my new desk this time next week. She's absolutely right. I'm the clumsiest man you'll ever meet, So no, that's out of the question, Benson. But yeah. So as a couple more things that I've ordered haven't come yet. I have spoke about these in the Discord, so a couple of you probably know. Which I've ordered a couple of lights. So LED lights. I'm taking my cues from Benson here because Benson, mate, you've got the best setup, I think, out of all of the stackers. Certainly on the out of the community, out of Stacker Social. Your setup is second to none, mate. And I've been envious of it for so long. When I'm setting up my bloody thing on my kitchen table and I'm putting everything and it's all falling over and I'm having to pop it all back up on my little tiny stands and I'm trying to get it so it's all sort of symmetrical because I hate it when it's not and all of that. And then I look at Benson's videos and I think, wow, this guy knows what he's got. He's just said, "Don't worry, Sandy, I'm clumsy when I've had a drink on an eBay account." Yeah, we know about your eBay escapades, mate. When you've had a few, but yeah, I mean, honestly, mate, I'm so jealous of you and your bell. I'm not going to mention the bell, but Brits and Sobs has just brought that up. But yeah, I love what you've got going on. I love what you've got going on with all the boxes. You spend a little bit of extra money on your boxes for storage, and I've been envious of it for a while. So having this all set up is cool, and I've taken my cues from you, and I bought a couple of LED lights. There's a few stackers who do that. So I bought two. It was a set of two. They're like so I'll have one on this side and one on that side. I might have them just off camera, maybe just on camera. I'll have to play around with that. But we're going to have one sort of blue and one pink. So they're going to, I might have to stand these up higher, these two Funkos. So they get sort of, You know, it's all a work in progress, but I want like the blue light in front of the Sandy or the Danny, which is me, Sandy. I know it's confusing, but I want, the blue light there and the pink light there behind Danny's toy, which is Sandy. Anyway, that's confusing. But yeah, I think that'll look great. But I'll have to play around with it a little bit. And they're coming next week. She just appeared behind me then, and I thought she was going to say hello. And I turned around and she's gone again. But yeah, so I've got that coming and a tripod just to put my camera on, because this arm, the bob's about everywhere and just does me head in. Worst thing I ever bought. But yeah, let's just have a go at the chat here. So yeah, BBA, XP King, that's all I'm good for. XP King. Not sure what you mean there. Diaxis, and to think 6 months ago he had just a towel as a backdrop. He came on Leaps and Browns. Great job, Benson. Yeah, I mean, I never actually seen the towel. That was by the time I started watching Benson, he had a fantastic looking setup. So yeah, so then Benson, that will look amazing, Sandy. A pink tail. Thanks, Diaxis. I think we all started with a towel as the background. Well, it's not all about the background, is it? It's nice to have a nice background, but I'll tell you, one of the best YouTubers that I watch for stacking. I don't know if any of you watch him. He's an American guy. I love watching Dubsy Coins. Brilliant lives, really good. He's been on Saturday Morning Chill with Vegas and Blue Collar Stacker. And he's been stacking 50 years since he was 5 years old or something. And he's a really knowledgeable fella. And even to this day, he has his lives are brilliant, but he has no fuss, no giveaways, nothing special. He just has a towel down and his silver on top of it. But it's what he's saying, isn't it, guys? That's the real content. So just to break off for a moment, excuse me, Danny has just appeared for a second time behind me. So I'm assuming you want to say hello to the chat, Danny?
Hi, chat. I just wanted to say that now he's in a separate room with his setup. He needs that bell, because where it's going to be shoved, I would hear him coming.
The bell. Yeah. Well, it's a good job you're here, because I'm pretty much empty, love.
In my elf cup.
In your elf cup. With the big cup.
Yeah, because you took the Sports Direct cup. The one cup I loved more than anything in this world. You took it to work and left it there.
I did, yeah. Well,
and then left the job.
And then left the job, yeah. Well, we'll get another one. Sports Direct cups are £1 a penny. Everyone's got one. I bet you someone's got one. I bet you someone could send me one. Mail call me a Sports Direct cup with a poker chip. Only joking. But yeah. So it's right, she's gone now. So hopefully get me brew topped up in a minute. So Jack Stacks, I reckon Benson Dave is selling his poker chips online. I can't see mine. Brits and Sob says, hey Danny. Diaxis, hey Danny. Jack Stacks, hey Danny. Benson, I will get it out as I've got a lot of packaging to send out. Are you talking about the bell? Oh, don't worry about it, mate. It's all just a do you know what? The bell's your thing, mate. You know, that's your little trademark. Like, I've got my caps, you know what I mean? So it's all good. But yeah, so now that she's gone, let's just get back to my notes. Where was I up to? I was talking about my setup and the improvements I've made. I've got the lights coming. I do babble a bit, guys. I'm getting more and more used to these lives. I love doing it. I love interacting with you all. It is easier when she's in the room with me and I can see the chat properly. But yeah, so I'm made up that I've got my lights coming and my setup on the go. Just going to make it a lot easier. But honestly, I when it comes to filming and that, I like doing this more than I like doing the the sort of pre-recorded videos. It feels a bit forced sometimes. But the problem with doing a live is I've got to have something to say. You know, I'm not an expert stacker. I'm a new stacker. I've got to kind of have pickups, you know what I mean, in order to make it a worthwhile live. So they might come few and far between because, as you all know, spot price has taken a massive, massive jump. I'm sure there's a lot of you out there who are really happy about that. I'm a little bit on the fence about that, and I'm going to talk about why. I'm gonna get my little 50p in now, for what it's worth, guys, about the jump in spot price, because I did stop stacking just before my holiday, and as we've got back from the holiday, spot prices has started to move, and it hasn't stopped moving. And whereas like beforehand, I was spending anything between £33 plus postage to sort of £38 per ounce per week. That's jumping up now to sort of 42, £44 plus postage. And I've yet to buy anything since the spot price has gone up. We don't know when it's going to stop. It could keep going up. It could reach, a point where we're paying. It's what they call the baseline. Even though spot price itself is 35, £36, the baseline is sort of felt £43, I'd say is fair at the moment, which is what you'd be expecting to pay on, a generic silver coin like one of these Britannias or Maples or something down here. So the baseline, you're looking at 42, 43, £44 now, which is, nearly £10 more than what it was before my holiday, before we had a little bit of a sabbatical on our stacking plan. It's not become unaffordable. It's still within reach of the 1 ounce a week plan. But it is still going up. There she is. Thank you, darling. There's my cup of tea. I think Danny's getting more worried about the spot price going up than I am. Because for me, although it is becoming harder to buy and stick to the 1 ounce a week plan, we kind of put a pause on that anyway. And I want to talk about that because, I've been stacking for just over 6 months when we decided to have our pause. And I learnt a lot. I learnt a lot through you guys. I learnt a lot through being part of the community and being part of Stackers Social. And I learnt a lot just through how I've been spending my sort of spare time. I do Danny's head in a little bit, and I'm sure she'll tell you, I'm constantly glued to this. I'm constantly glued to my phone. I'm constantly watching TSC auctions. I'm constantly watching Cobra Stacker auctions. I'm constantly watching you guys in your channels. I'm constantly watching the American YouTube channels. Even when I'm not doing that, I'm looking at eBay. I'm looking at Silver Trader.
Whatnot.
I'm looking at Whatnot, and I'm watching their auctions. And what I've done basically over the last 6 months is give myself a crash course as a buyer, as a silver buyer. If I've got any expertise in this field, it's probably how much of things. If you ask me how much something is, I can probably tell you and where the best place to go and buy it from at the moment. There's still, I don't know every seller out there. I've not bought off every seller out there, but I bought off a lot of them and a lot of the sources, and I played around with it a little bit, and I spend all of my time just giving myself this crash course in how much you pay with this stuff. Now it's changing a little bit, but the standards are the same. You've got like your standard bullion coin, then you've got like, the first level of premium, which is £3 or £4 more. And the places that I've been buying from, sometimes the Stackers Social Marketplace is a great place. The secondary market I'm talking about, guys, whether it's eBay, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Stackers Social, whether it's the Whatnot auctions.
I think what worries me is I'm not as into the weight journey as Danny is, and the weight stacking.
I'm Sandy.
Oh, Sandy, yeah. I'm not as much into the weight stacking as Danny is. I enjoyed the early part of the journey where we went on and I picked a unique coin. Sandy had no choice in it. And that was my stacking journey. And the unique coins now, Silver Trader, his prices are out of the market at the moment.
Yeah, well, Silver Trader's a good example because his have gone up from about £38 to about £48. It's a £10 price jump, which is about right. He's only following the spot price trend, but it is significant, isn't it? When you put it that way, from £33 £43 to £43, or with a Silver Trader, but deal. I like Silver Trader because he's got a big range. He's dependable, trustworthy, which is worth paying the extra couple of quid. But from 37 to 38, £39 a coin is now, it's hitting 50 quid. Um, so it's made me take a little bit of a step back. Are you sticking around, or are you gonna?
No, I'll stick around if you want.
Grab the other chair if you want. Just pull up then. It's up to you. I know you're not feeling good, love.
No, I'm not. And Traitors is on.
Yeah, I know. I'll be stopping tonight, guys, when Traitors starts, our favourite TV show. How sad's that? But there you go. It's celebrity special, so that's 9:00, I think.
I'll be with you on the chat.
All right then. All right, she's leaving us, and she's gonna join back in with the chat. I think that Southeast Stacking's just joined us, so welcome. Hello, mate. So a lot of changes with spot price, and it's come at a time, as I say. I'm just gonna stick to the script a little bit now, because it's come at a time when I'd stopped stacking. I took the pause for the holiday. I come out to the other side of that, still sort of struggling to get back into the stacking plan. Now, I was about to go down a different direction, and I was about to start really weight stacking, because I'm planning on upping my budget from 1 ounce a week. This depends. Look, I've said in the past on a live that if you're new to my channel and you've never seen me before, I struggle with a few mental health problems, and I smoke a lot of cannabis. I've got a bit of an addiction to cannabis, and a lot of my money goes on that, and I'm trying to conquer it. And I've been open about this in the past, and the idea is, what I'm telling you is once I've conquered it, my stacking plan goes up from one of these 1 ounce coins a week to something quite significant. We could be talking, I'm spending about £180 on weed a week, and that's not good. And I need to knock it in the head. And once that happens, my stacking goes to the moon, a bit like silver spot price at the moment. So I was really thinking hard over my holiday about how I wanted to sort of tackle that and how I wanted a budget. And that is still, it's going to happen. I'm determined, still fighting battles, but so I was thinking now that, I am going to be budgeting a lot more. I've been doing this for 6 months now, and I can't keep justifying the one sort of unique coin a week off Silver Trader UK when quite honestly, guys, I know better. I have been giving myself this crash course, figuring out how much things cost and where. And you're buying in bulk. You're saving money, simple as. And I've got to start thinking about that now. And there's a few other things that I'm thinking about. I can't keep ignoring something that Nerd UK put me onto. Most of you on the channel will probably know about it. And that is the 1 gram a month Tavex subscription for a 1 gram of silver, which, as far as I can tell, to my knowledge, is the single best precious metals investment there is out there on the market at the moment, because you buy 1 gram a month, and after 12 months they send you a free gram. And a gram of gold is becoming the go-to investment. A lot of people in the community are talking about it. I can't really bite on it because of the premium attached to them, but a lot of people will tell you that the premium holds, and it's good as an investment. And if you buy into that, if you buy into the idea of 1 gram golds, then you've got to buy into the idea of the Tavex subscription and getting a free one at the end. And you can max that out by anything up to 5 per month. So if you think about that, that's 5. If you were to max that out, I'm not saying I will, but do the math. It's about 100 quid, so that'd be about £500 a month. That's working out at about £6 grand per year, then you're getting five free grams of gold at the end of the year. And if spot price keeps going up, then yes, those grams of gold are getting increasingly more expensive as the year goes on. But the ones you've already bought, you're making your money back on them. And also, the ones that you get free at the end, whether it's 1 or 5 for free at the end of that 12-month subscription, they're the most expensive ones. The free ones are the most expensive ones. And that is impossible to ignore. Ned just said it was £70 when he started. Yeah, and we're up to, I think we're looking at £100 now per gram. But honestly, you just cannot beat that as a I started this channel to sort of promote silver 1 ounce a week as the working class man's investment. Found it harder than I thought I would, but stuck to my targets. But now that I've learned a little bit more about this hobby and this investment side of things, it really is hard to ignore that TAVX subscription. So thinking about a few things, thinking about weight stacking, thinking about upping the budget, thinking about the 1 gram subscription. But there's something else I'm thinking about, and it's all linked with spot price and how that's changing. And while as before spot price went up, I was thinking about, weight stacking. Sort of getting 5 coins, maybe 10 coins at a time to try and make a deal on Facebook and stuff like that. And it didn't really matter what the coins were as long as I was getting an ounce of silver. That was my plan going forward once my budget changed. But with spot price going up so much, I've actually started to notice some things. And there's Ned. Sorry, I am picking up on the odd comment. £111.49 for a gram of silver. See that from £70 when you first started. It's massive, isn't it? But it does 2 things. As a new stacker, as someone who's only just been into this 7 or 8 months, it sort of makes you go, oh God, can I afford this? Can I keep going? But at the same time, it justifies it. You know what I mean? It justifies the investment. All right, maybe I can't afford £111 a week, but if I can still afford 50 and keep on investing it, which is, I've been investing 40 a week up until now. If 50 is good, I can go with that. If it keeps going up, that's silver, and we're talking about silver or gold, they're kind of shadowing each other. But it justifies it. It justifies the decision that I made 8 months ago when I decided I'm gonna be a silver stacker, because that grey box at the back there that Nerd UK made me, all right, that is half full of silver ounces, and that is now worth more money than it was when I bought it. It is getting harder to buy, and it's like, as somebody, like I say, as you heard to say yourself, Danny is a little bit worried about the prices going up. It's not really what you bargain for, but it is what I didn't think it'd go up this quickly, this soon. I think everybody always says, don't they, I wish I'd have got into this hobby sooner. I wish I'd have started sooner, and we all feel like that. But I think I really do wish I'd have got into it sooner. I've been into it 6 or 7 months, and spot price has absolutely skyrocketed. It's strange. It's intimidating, but it's also justifying the decision that I've made. So let's just pick up on the chat. What am I reading there? Stilts are cheaper now. Stilts. Cobra's auction makes sense. 1 a week and box them to reduce the postage. Yeah, agree with that, Ned. Kilroy, amen. Do what you can. If it is 1 ounce of silver per week, 1 ounce of silver, 1 gram of gold, whatever you can afford, over long-term prices will go up. The best time to start stacking was 30 years ago. The second best time is today, if you haven't already. Absolutely, Silverpunk. I mean, as always, Silverpunk comes in with something really philosophical. If the second best time is today, If you didn't start 30 years ago, start today. I mean, everybody in here is already a silver stacker. We're preaching to the choir. You guys know the benefits, but if there is anybody watching or comes across this video in the future who's not and makes it this far listening to me bang on, uh, start today. It's the best thing you'll ever do. It's changed my life, really has. So yeah. But I was talking a little bit on Stackers Social today because there's as I said a minute ago, there's something else I've noticed about prices since spot prices changed. Because your standard bullion over here, your Maples and your Britannias and your American Silver Eagles and your Libs, right? Price on them has shot up, and well, naturally, because hello, avocado stacker, welcome. So naturally, the price on those pieces has gone up because spot price has gone up. So what I've noticed is on the more premium pieces. All right, now bear with me a minute because this is going in the opposite direction from what I've just said, which was that I was gonna weight stack. Now I'm actually thinking maybe now is the time to actually fit in with the collector nature of this hobby and go in the opposite direction to weight stacking, because the more expensive collector's items, the price on them hasn't really changed. And even if it does change, it's not going to change all that much. Now, as I say, bear with me, because if you're looking at if you spotted a coin 6 months ago, that one coin that you really, really want for your collection, right? In my case, it would be the Lady Justice coin. All right, I've looked everywhere. You can't get it in the UK. It's available in Europe. It's available in America. You could get it imported from eBay, but you're talking VAT. You're talking, all kinds of taxes, high delivery cost. All right, so that piece, the cheapest I've been able to find that piece is £65. And I don't think I'd added the VAT on. So, most people were selling it. By the time you added all the costs on it, it was working out about 100 quid. It's a beautiful coin. I don't know if any of you seen it, but it's like that image from like Paramount movies, the lady with the blindfold and her arms spread out like a cross. And it's a beautiful coin. And I really, really want it for my collection, but it's too expensive. And because it's just not available over here. At the only place I've ever seen it in the UK, and I've told him, Mr. TSC, the stack collector, he's got one, and I want it, and he won't give me it. I don't blame him. But, to get it imported, it's going to cost me about 100 quid. So, thing is I've been looking at it and a couple of other things like it, and it's still 100 quid, despite spot price going up by nearly £10. And it's occurred to me that the items that are more premium heavy, they might be the ones to aim at now, especially while the market is so volatile, because spot price could keep going up and it could hit like £45 and then it could drop again and it could crash and nobody knows. And I don't like to talk about that stuff on my channel because I haven't got a clue when it comes to economics and all that side of things and the investment side of it. I bought into the idea that silver stacking was a good investment, and I like collecting the shiny things, and that's it. And here I am, so I don't like to preach about all the investment side of things because it could crash. Nobody knows the future. I believe it did rise and crash once before in the past, for the long term silver stackers might remember. Don't know what year that was, but it's happened before, so we don't know. So now could be the time, and I want you all to think about this. Now could be the time to go for those pretty premium pieces. Maybe if I mean, Silverpunk's in the chat tonight. If you've been fancying a Silverpunk piece for a while, but you think, you need to focus on that weight stack. You've got your plan, you've got your strategy. Maybe just put that to the side for a minute and just buy into the collector side, buy into the premium. Because spot price is going up and it's steadily going up and it's not stopping. And any day it could crash. It might still keep going up forever, which I think is more likely, to be honest. I think it's going to keep going up and up and up. I think it will slow down though. Uh, you know, if you want to wait till it's steadied off, that's what I want to do. I want to wait till it's steadied off before I'm ready to make my decision. Do I go for the 1 gram Tabex? Do I go for a weight stacking plan? Do I stick with me sort of 1 ounce a week randoms, trying to build up like a unique collection? While I'm making that decision, I think what I'm going to do, instead of 1 ounce a week, I'm going to look at 1 ounce every 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a couple of ounces a month. And I'm going to be looking at the more desirable pieces. As I've said, the Lady Justice coin is on my hit list. It's going to cost a bomb to get it imported from America. Maybe I'll focus on that instead of one a week because the price isn't changing. It's still 100 quid. The premium is holding true. But so even if the premium holds true and the spot price does rise, let's say it rises by £10. So whereas your £33 Britannia has now rise to 43, £44. The £100 coin is rising to £110. As a percentage, that's much smaller. It's a 10% rise per coin instead of it's about 30 or 40% rise. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I'm just going to focus on those pretty little premium pieces, and I'm going to ignore the weight stacking for now. And then when we get to maybe Christmas and it's all calmed down and it's all steadied out, and I've got a few nice pieces from a collection that I've been after for a while. Another one is I've got the 2023 Britannia. I've got both Charles and Elizabeth. I want the coronation crown, and I want there's two, isn't there? There's the coronation coin and there's the crown Charles Britannia, and I want both of them, and they come with a pretty premium. So I'm going to focus on them. I'm going to get, I'm going to have a look around and just, for some really great coins that have got higher premium on them. And I'm going to feed the collector in my nature rather than the weight stacker. I just think it makes more sense while spot price is moving and we're so uncertain about what's to come. So, take that advice or don't. But I tell you, as I was having these thoughts over the weekend, I was watching Dub C Coins in America. I'd stayed up way too late. He's on in the States. And he was he's like a 50-year stacker. He likes all these like 10-ounce Engelhard bars and so on. And he's got a brilliant collection of vintage bars. And he was he was saying the same thing. He was saying maybe it's time to feed the collector because the premium and everything. So if he don't take my advice on it, but take Dub C's because he's a brilliant, brilliant guy and a brilliant stacker, and he's very knowledgeable with his history. So yeah. And that's about it, really. That's all I've really got to say on the spot price. So I'm just going to go back to the chat for a minute. I scroll back a bit. Gone to Brits and Sobs. He says, there's a random question, but Sandy saying about imports just reminded me. Has anybody got any of the Yankee stacker rounds with Tim on it? I went to get one and it was £80 for delivery, more from the coin. Yeah, so the delivery is more than the coin. Sometimes it is from the States. I don't know about the round that you're talking about, but I have seen Yankee Stacker's channel. So Nerd UK says 100% Brits and Sobs, he wants one as well. Postage was mad. Kilroy says, not sure what the UK rules are. I think currently it's basically exempt from some import taxes. The Lady Justice is technically currency of Niue. Maybe a loophole for the VAT. You would need to check. I thought the Lady Justice rather than a Nui. I thought it was Gibraltar. Pretty sure it's a Gibraltar coin. So yeah, there's my Danny, and she's saying rounds offer design and variety, but do they offer value? Very specialized market as someone needs to want them. Diaxis, yeah, 1980 and 2011. I was talking about the crashes, but bring it on. I'd be happy if it did. Something dropped to silly, something on the spot, and the crash, you'll be able to buy 10 times more silver than today with the same money. To be honest, I wouldn't be worried about a crash because I'm brand new. You know, I'm planning on doing this for 20 years. If it crashed tomorrow and I was picking up cheap silver, and in 20 years it had reached the sort of same levels as what I started at, absolutely, I'd be down with that, yeah. I know there's a lot of stackers in the community who wouldn't agree. Brits and subs, but yeah, we might have to get Cobra to grab a few and get them on his auction. Or the Lady Justice, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, get somebody else to get them in and sell them to us. Yeah, why not? Nerd UK, I think I already messaged him, Brits and subs. Diaxis Cypher, yeah, the Cypher crown and the crown. So that's the Cypher coin and the crown coin, two, you know, slightly higher premium coins that, you know, they're both on my hit list with the Lady Justice. With Danny, brilliant live, Sandy. So excited to see your knowledge and the silver chat on this live. What are you after? Bigging me up. Benson coins. What was the coin you was on about, Sandy? As I just went to the toilet quickly. Oh, it's the Lady Justice coin, Benson. I think just the 1 ounce Lady Justice. If you type that into Google, you shall find it. I've seen 2 versions of it. I think they do it every year. But you can get an excuse me, you can get an antiquated version with the sort of toning on it, which looks quite nice, but I don't know whether I want it. I quite like the normal bullion. So yeah, it's a Lady Justice, mate. Jack Stacks, in my opinion, Yankee Stacking is the best channel for stacking on YouTube. I'll admit I haven't watched a great deal of his. I'm aware of him. I haven't watched much. My personal favourite's Dubsy. I've mentioned him a couple of times. Nothing fancy. No fancy setup, no giveaways. It's on at 2 in the morning. He's got a lot of knowledge on his history, a lot of knowledge on it, and it's a different culture in the States, isn't it? They have the coin shops and their LCSs, and there's not many of them that I like watching. I probably like watching Sobriety and Silver just because the message he puts out. I like Dubsy Coins because I just think he's fantastic. Just interacting with his chat and the knowledge he puts over. And I like watching Blue Collar, Stacker, and Vegas. Stacker, they have some great guests on, and they're doing a cracking job. So Brits and Sobs, Yankee Stacking, one with Tim on it. Yeah, with Tim. Ian Kirk, hello, mate. Ian Kirk, you're Zathras, aren't you? Cobra always says in his streams it's confusing because people have different names on Discord and different names on YouTube. But you're Zathras, aren't you, mate? Just clear that up for me, because if you are, I'm glad to see you here, because I did a little video on you and your story. I hope you caught that. It's a cracking little story about a bit about your story that you told me from 30 years ago, the guy you work with. Yes, it is you. Good to see you. I made a cracking little video, the story of Ian Kirk's old workmate, the Flat Cap crew, they called themselves. They were the Flat Cap crew, and he was the only one without a flat cap. And they always promised that he'd get him one, but they never did. But he's got one now. And I posted his pictures on the video. And he told me a great little story about how his workmate and his flat cap crew workmate was pilfering gold and silver sort of jewelry from this mail sorting office that they both worked at. And then the police turned up and he was never seen again. And oh, it was a belter. So it's good to see you, Ian. Welcome, mate. Brits and Sob says, Sandy, you're a fan of Sobriety and Silver. What do you think of his new channel name? I didn't know that he'd renamed it. I know that he's changed up his like his AI stuff, his preview at the beginning all looks good, but I didn't know he'd renamed it. What's he renamed it to? Humble Stacker says, well, I like watching you, Sandy. Oh, thank you, Humble. I tried to catch a little bit of your live stream the other night, but it's difficult with the Americans because you're on so late. Did you do about a 3.5 hour live stream? I've seen it on YouTube. Was it like 3.5 hour, 4 hour long? That's impressive, mate. So, so Britain stopped Staxilla or something, I think. I can't remember off the top of my head. Okay, so what's he done then? I can only assume that maybe he's going to split his channel between the sobriety sort of talk and like the you know is silver stacking. I'll have to get in touch with him. I speak to him a little bit. He's a great guy. So yeah, I'm interested in that. Stackzilla. That's a good name, but yeah, sobriety and silver. He puts a great message. He just talks about his silver stacking and how it helps him conquer his addiction problems. So Humble Stacker says, yeah, it was 3.5 hours long, and he's going to do a talk show. Oh, you're going to do a talk show? Oh, that's cool. So Britain Sobnat, his name change said it was messing the algorithm up. Right, okay. Okay, so that makes sense. It was messing the algorithm up. The Humble Stacker on Sundays at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. 3 of us. Liberty Bleed Silver. Okay, I know him. See him in a lot of the live streams. Cartier Silver and you two. Oh, and the Metal Noob. The Metal Knob. Sorry, my phone's not working. I can't read that. Oh, well, that's interesting, mate. All right, well, look, I don't know whether you're a member of Stackers Social or not, but get on there and advertise it a little bit. We'll spread the word for you. Put your links up. Put your links up in the Discord, and we'll. It's probably going to be 9 p.m. Pacific time. I don't know what that time is in GMT, but it's probably going to be late at night for us. But the American folks in the Discord will see it as well. And it always, it's the beauty of this community, this Stackers Social Discord. I had something like 50 bloody subscribers for my very first video. You know what I mean? They come in force. And they'll be there if they can, if the timing works out. So yeah. Humble says, I do. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Sandy. Also watching Stacking with Craven. Yeah, absolutely. Get Craven to give you a shout out as well. He won't mind, honestly. Get TSC to give you a shout out on on Saturday night Stack Chat. It really does wonders. Sorry. Excuse me a minute. All right, so yeah, I'm just gonna move away from the chat for a minute. A couple more things to talk about. I've had my little say on spot price. I want to talk about something else now, because a few weeks ago, I made a big decision regarding the stack. I've actually sold a little bit of the work class stack. I've gone against a bit of a pledge that I made. I pledged to sort of collect a 1 ounce a week every week for the next 20 years. Obviously found that harder than I thought it'd be. Reached my target early anyway, despite the difficulties. Put myself on pause for a holiday. So because I was on a bit of a sabbatical with my stacking and I wasn't buying anything, I was getting a bit bored. I was getting itchy. I needed that dopamine hit from my silver. I needed the delivery. You know how it is, guys. And I decided that what I'd do, I was thinking long and hard about it, and I decided to part with a bit of my stack. And I've done that for several reasons. One, because I wanted to make the stack work for me. And I actually bought the desk with the money that I've raised from, so in a very real sense, it stayed within, the stacking plan because the desk is a part of the stacking plan. So, I've made a home improvement for Danny's work life. I've made an improvement for the YouTube channel. And that money was raised for this desk by selling a bit of silver. And what I've sold is I've sold 5 ounces from a box, a few random coins. Me and Danny had a little sit down and we picked out the sort of 5 that we, the 5 least favourites, if you like, the 5 that we were most willing to part with. I can't remember what they were now, doesn't really matter, but they've gone from the stack. I've also parted with my collection of 925 silver, which I've been buying off TSC's auction. I was kind of sorry to see it go, but honestly, it was a bit of a distraction trying to do the 925 on top of the 1 ounce a week of silver, and I just decided that I need to streamline and I needed to just get on with it. And I decided that I parted with that. So I sold that, and I sold the 5 ounces of silver, and with the money that I got from that, I bought the desk, and I've also bought a couple of other items. I alluded to earlier on that I'd had a couple more things to show you pickup wise, which I'll show you now. But the idea behind all this is I want to start trading. I want to start flipping. That's what they say in it, flipping coins, flipping metals. Just to try and make a little bit of profit here and there. So I decided to cut the stack back, but that money has stayed within the stack. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to buy cheap and sell fair using Stackers Social Marketplace, using Facebook. I'm learning my way around that. I've already made a couple of sales. I've built up, I think 8 reviews on me seller review on Stackers Social up to now. And I've just been trying to buy a couple of things on the cheap and sell them at a fair price so that I make a little bit of profit. And then with the profit, go again, buy something cheap, sell it at a fair price. I bought a koala coin, which was bought off me by a guy called Smithy last week. And I bought that quite cheap and sold it quite fair. I made a nice little bit of profit on it. And I bought a couple of other things. So the money that I've taken out of the stack, it's given me this new side stack, if you like, which I'm going to use as me flip stack. And I'm, hopefully going to build up a little bit of profit. Now, there's a lot of people in the community who'll tell you to stay well away from that and just stack. Don't try and make profit from it. You're risking, spot price can change while you're making a deal. You're only selling for the same as what you're rebuying for. But, I have given myself this 6-month crash course in where to buy from and how much things are worth and how much things sell for. And if I see, I did quite often, I will see something which is selling cheap and I haven't got any money to buy it. And I'm thinking it's an instant profit. I could, if I had the money, I could buy it, I could sell it the next day because it's a popular item. I've made £5, I've made £10, whatever. But I've never got any money to do that. So by having this side stack, it's keeping part of my stack liquid by making sales and, repurchasing. It's keeping the deliveries coming in when I'm not stacking from my, normal stacking plan from my wages, and just keeping me involved in the hobby. And, it might not work out. I'm going to make a few mistakes, whether it works out or not. I'm going to make a few losses. I'm going to make a few bad decisions. I might have already made one. I'll tell you about that in a minute. So far, I've made 8 sales and I've made small profits on all of them. So can't ask for more than that, can you? And as I say, it's the progression of my journey as well. We talk about our journeys, our journey in silver stacking. And I've done a 6-month crash course in buying, and now I want to do a 6-month stack course in selling. And I think it's important, even if I don't keep it up for the entire 20-year sort of period that I'm doing this, because we all need an exit plan at the end of it. And, if we want to maximize our exit plan, we have to get good at selling. If you're just going to pile it up for 20 years and then take it to cash converters, they're giving you a spot price for it. If you pile it up over 20 years and you figure out where to sell it, the price it's worth, you know, you're going to do better out of it. So the next 6 months, I want to start just trading a little bit and doing a little bit of this and doing a little bit of that. All right. And as I say, I bought that koala coin that's sold, a couple of other bits that have sold. I'll show you this. This is my envelope of gold backs. All right. So thanks to Saka Social, I've found a really cheap source of gold backs. All right. And I've now got a whole bunch of these things. Lovely collectible item. I've got a lot of halves and a bunch of ones. And I bought them fairly cheaply, and I'm going to sell them at the going rate. I'm not going to try and rip. I've actually got them on the marketplace a little bit too high at the moment. Kind of put them on too high, knowing that they wouldn't sell, because I was thinking I was waiting for my delivery, and my delivery got caught up in customs from this company that I'm buying from. So yeah, I'm going to have a go at just trying to move them. I'm making a bit of profit, and then once I've sold them, I'll go again and again. And then there's a couple of other items that I'm thinking about, which I sort of know if I can buy cheap, I can sell rather easily using the various platforms to try and make a profit. And I'm not going to be trying to make millions, and I'm going to maintain my integrity. And I was actually thinking, I mentioned to TSE, I was thinking about stopping the channel. I'm not doing this anymore, not doing any videos, because I was having a bit of trouble with how do I sort of sell and buy and still do the channel and maintain my integrity, because a lot of what I set out to do is be dead honest about how much I paid for things, how much things cost, and, you know, the working class investment and all that. And, you know, how do I tell someone how much I bought something for and then put it on the marketplace the next day, you know, making a bit of money off? I'm going to get challenged and people aren't going to like that. And, you know, I was just struggling with those ideas and those thoughts, but I just thought, what the hell, I'm going to go for it. I want to do it. It's just something I want to do. It might change the way I present working class stacks in the future, especially if it takes off and I do well. And I start, you know, I'd love to get to a point where I'm doing like a weekly sales post or something like that, you know, and, you know, only making £1 or £2 per item, but we'll see. So yeah, the other item I bought in order to, let me just go back to the chat before I show you the final item. It is the last one. So Humble Stacker, I think that's where we're up to. Not going on Craven's show, just in chat watching. All right, okay. I've seen Silverpunk. I've seen and had people buy my stuff off SS and sell on eBay, whatnot, and elsewhere for a good profit. It can be done. Oh, so he's talking about, right. So you want me to flip yours? So is that what you're saying, Silverpunk? Is I should buy your stuff and then sell it for a profit? I tell you what, I absolutely agree that it's possible, but once it's in my possession, mate, it ain't leaving, because you know, I just love your art, your stuff, and I haven't managed to get my hands on one yet. That'll come. So Nerd UK, I couldn't sell any of my Silverpunk stuff. Shot down in flames. Nerd UK, you big softy, you. Brits and Sobs, get Yankee rounds. I'm sure you can flip them. Yeah, not a bad idea. The Yankee stacker rounds. Silverpunk, what do they look like, the Yankee rounds? I made design with his logo and Tim on ages ago. So, I couldn't quite get it right, but he still wanted it. Brits and Sobs, it's got the hand sign and then the portrait of Tim. I'm assuming this is Yankee stacker, is it, Tim? Silverpunk, yeah, sounds like the same design. I tried to do them for him ages ago. You know what? I'm gonna have to have a little look at Yankee Stacker, because I am a subscriber, but I've never really watched much of his stuff. So I'm just gonna show you the final item that I bought for flipping, and then I want to finish on just a little bit about my personal plans moving forward, and then that'll be it, because Traitors is starting in 10 minutes. All right. So the final item I bought, and I'm gonna put this up for auction. I'm gonna have a bit of fun with this, because I paid a little bit of a premium on this item, and I'm gonna put this up on Halloween, and you'll see why. Just get it in its little stand, right? I'm going to put this up as a £1 start. I'm taking a risk here, guys. Okay, I'm taking a risk here. Right, that's its little stand. It's in a case. It comes with its stand. It's got a little case here, and it's actually, you can't really see on that side, but on the back here, you can actually see that it's a lib. All right, and it's a lib with like a Day of the Dead sort of Halloween coloured finish on it. I'll just show you this because it actually comes in this as well. It goes in with its little stand, which is quite clever, and the two of them go in there and they slide out, and then you've got this little sort of COA on the actual back packaging. Try and get that in zoom for you. All right, but that says the certificate of authenticity, Caballero de la Muerte, which translates to Day of the Dead, which is the Mexican sort of holiday, the Mexican celebration of Day of the Dead, which ties in with Halloween here in the States. It's black platinum and coloured. It's actually 999 silver, but it's got a black platinum coating on it. Now, see, it's darker than your standard sort of silver coin. Sorry for knocking my phone. Rather than the bullion, it's got that black platinum finish to it. And it's like the skull with the flames and the roses. Now, this is like, you know, it's a particular kind of collector after this. And if we get it close enough, you can just make out the lib in the background, like the angel and then wings. Don't know whether you can see that back on your screens at home. I can when I look off camera. And then we've got your standard lib back with the black plating on it. I think it's nice. It's not, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be totally honest here. It's not really my thing. It's not the sort of thing I'd go out and buy. But I bought it because it was going cheap on it. I got a really good deal on an auction. I'm not going to tell you how much I bought it for because I'm going to do that. All right. It's Power Coin. I am going to do that as a £1 start over 2 days, finishing on Halloween at about 10 o'clock. Silverpunk came up with a good point when I was telling him about it, and he said Nemo and TSC have got their Halloween spectacular event that they're doing, so I don't want it to run in with that. Maybe I'll finish it just after. I'll have to speak to them to see what their timing is. But yeah, that's a limited edition. There's 100 pieces of that. It's edition number 25. All right, now I will let you in on when you Google this item. All right, when you Google it, I didn't actually find one that was exactly identical, but there's a lot similar. You know, if you see the same coin, the lib, it's just a different design, different like pattern, different. You know, they're all sort of Day of the Dead designs, but there's tons of them. There's like women with roses on the cheeks and all kinds. And honestly, guys, on Google, you can Google it for yourself, but Google, and I never trust Google prices, but Google seems to suggest that that could potentially go for triple figures, all right, for 3 figures. Okay. You know, the only instance where I found one exactly like this was on Silver Trader UK, but it was an old sort of taken down. You know, when you come across like a sales post from years ago, I think it was from 2023 when it was he must have had some Silver Trader when they come out. And in 2023, he was selling them on his website for $99.99. All right. So, you know, I don't know whether I'm really expecting that. I know it's a pretty niche item. I know it's got to be like the right person, but I'm hoping that Halloween will boost the interest in it because it is a very Halloween style coin. And yeah, so £1 auction on Halloween. If you like the looks of that, you'll see it come up the day before. They're on the 30th of October. And happy bidding because I stand to make quite a loss on this, but I'm going to throw caution to the wind and I'm going to have a bit of fun with it because I've never done an auction before. And I believe in it. I believe potentially this could make me a profit. So, yeah, so that's what I'm about, right? So I've split the stack. I'm doing a little bit of flipping. I'm trying to improve my sales. Sorry, improve my stack by making occasional sales, because all the profit that I make from the sales will remain in the stack. That's the philosophy behind it. So yeah, so I'm gonna finish up in a minute. I just wanna finish off just by saying in my last live, as I said earlier, I did touch upon the mental health problems and the issues I'm having trying to pack in smoking the weed, and how like ambitious I am to do that, and how that'll make my stacking plan just really shoot into orbit. You guys will know. You guys will know. You'll see the difference because you'll see the silver turning up in my videos, and you'll know that I've sorted it out. But you know, Danny's talking about it as well, and we're thinking about using the channel to sort of talk about it and be honest about it and help us grow and help us beat our addiction. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do that yet. Might make another channel. Don't know. Might just have a mental health channel and try and get that out there into some communities. But it really is healthy just coming on here and talking to you guys who always turn up and join my little lives. And just being honest about it. I think I'm being more honest about it than I've been for years with Danny, with other people, and likewise for her, with her struggles. So baby steps. But yeah, hopefully that will, you'll see the changes. You will. You can already see some positive changes just by looking at my set. All right, so I am gonna end it up there. So yeah, I have to end it up there because, as Danny's just reminded me, the 5-minute countdown is on until Kate Garraway is unveiled as a traitor. Guys, get over to BBC One. The Traitors is coming. It's our favourite TV show. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sorry for not keeping up with the chat as well as I'd like to. Silverpunk, just keep moving forward, buddy. We'll do every day moving forward, Silverpunk, mate. 365, great live, Sandy. Really enjoyed this. And thanks for tuning in. I know you said you were listening, but not interacting. That's cool. Thanks for sticking with us, guys. It's been nearly an hour and a half. God, I can gab when I put my mind to it. So yes, thank you very much for joining Working to Class Stacks, and we will see you soon. Bye, stackers.